Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Red Bull Ring in the Styrian Mountains in Austria for round 3 of the ESET Cup Series and the joint championships. We do have the Suzuki Swift Cup Europe running together with us this weekend as well, just like we did the last time out in Hungary at the Hungaroring. This is already the race number 2 for the series, and we have got Balázs Hartmann on pole position. Alongside him, Kamil Serafin, behind them Fabian Dibionka, István Bernula, Martin Zellhofer, Fabian Orfandl, Christoph Zellhofer, Alex Sovka, Moritz Čermej and Lukas Niederscheider in the top 10. Regarding the slower 1.6 class, it's Oskar Marszalkowski on pole from Gábor György, Balázs György, Egon Burkus, Vince Keller and Gábor Foraj. We've got quite a lot of cars on the grid, actually. And we also do have the results from race number 1. Just very quickly, I'm going to tell you that it was Alex Sovka who scored the victory in the yesterday's race, just as all of the Swifts from both of the classes, it's the 1.4 turbo and the 1.6 naturally aspirated, the previous generation. They're getting lined up on the grid into their grid slots for the race number 2 of the weekend here in Austria. So the red lights come on, all 5 of them now, and they're off, and we are racing. It is Balázs Hartmann in that predominantly yellow car taking the early lead from pole position into the first corner. Up the hill they go, into the right-hander. And the car's already running sideways, some of them, and actually using the wider line through the off-track. And there we go up the hill once again. It's Balázs Hartmann in the lead. I believe that Kamil Serafin has dropped one place. That should be the predominantly white car, and up the order goes, is that István Bernula in that black and green car? No, it's actually Kamil Serafin. So Hartmann leading. There we go at the top of the hill along the straight. And now we're starting to descend back through the remaining corners. It's quite tight there into the right-hander as usual, but no contacts, no clashes, no crashes. Everybody staying on the track. There's a fight in the 1.6 class. And we've still got Hartmann leading from Serafin, Dibionka and Bernula. Further down the field, both. Ooh, and there's a mistake from Hartmann, which is now allowing Kamil Serafin through into the race lead. I was going to say that there's both Zellhofers of the family, son and father, in 5th and 7th, with Fabian Orfandl between them. Ooh, and that's a hairy moment, sideways moment, through the penultimate corner there. And back onto the start and finish straight we go, with Balázs Hartmann now dropping down to 3rd. And coming under pressure, we have now got ourselves a new race leader in István Bernula in the end, actually, from Kamil Serafin in that black and orange car. And Balázs Hartmann being really hard over the curb, across the curb. This is another fight. It's Maximilian Mayer fighting it out with Lukas Niederscheider through the first corner. So Bernula leading from Serafin, and Balázs Hartmann losing yet more ground in the process as we are approaching turn number 2. It's Fabian Dibionka moving ahead. There's another fight a little further down the field. István Bernula trying to choose the shortest line possible towards the 3rd corner. Just as there is another fight unraveling behind them with Serafin, and that might already be Alex Sofka. Is it him, the Polish driver? He definitely does race a predominantly white car, and that, I believe, is Alex Sofka. Now up to 2nd. What a moves! What a move by the Polish driver. There's Balázs Hartmann in that yellow car, followed by one of the Zellhofers. Sofka having a go together with Kamil Serafin. Car number 586, that is Alex Sofka already. So good opening couple of laps from the pole, but he's now making a mistake and his car is slowing right down as he is running off the track. So that was good start of the race for Alex Sofka, but he's now somehow run into trouble and his car slowed right down. So Sofka dropping dramatically down the order. The race 1 winner now having issues. There is Hartmann under pressure from Zellhofer. Not only 1 but 2 in the end. And Fabian Orfandl behind them. Balázs Hartmann heading this train of Swifts up the hill once again. 20.5 minutes left. It's Bernula leading from Serafin. It's a short fight and maybe even a contact exiting the 2nd corner. The sideways moment for the race leader. Incredible fights up and down the field. Ooh, and we've got a mistake from Balázs Hartmann. He was a little too wide there, out of the first left-hander. And driving across the gravel trap. These are the slower cars further down the field. Yeah, let's actually check the fight also for the race lead in that class, where we currently have Jordan Gabor and Balázs György behind one another. Balázs Hartmann is going to have to defend hard. Look how many opponents he's got in his rearview mirror. That's basically everybody. Car 146, that is Fabian Orfan, the year's trial, or the former champion of the series. Ahead, Martin and Christoph Zellhofer together with Moritz Chermay. Nothing happening here just yet. We've got one of the cars entering the pit lane. That appears to be Alex Sovka, who has been dealing with technical issues. Ooh, and that's another fight. Balázs Hartmann still trying to stay ahead of everybody else, but it's getting harder and harder. And he has Christoph Zellhofer right behind him with Moritz Chermay and Martin Zellhofer in the mix as well. They're all over the back end of that predominantly yellow Suzuki Swift. And Hartmann somehow still staying ahead of all of them. Look how hard he's having to fight for it. And up front goes also Lukas Niederscheider, while Fabian Orfandl is, well, he did lose a little bit ground, but he's now back on the move. So Orfandl, the car number 146, behind him, 507, that's Moritz Chermay. They are now running side by side into the last sector of the track, with Martin Zellhofer seemingly behind both of them right now, with Balázs Hartmann somehow still staying on the podium in third. All of the Swifts sort of running, well, very tail happy into the corners and running sideways into them, losing grip on those rear wheels and trying to somehow keep it with the fronts. That was a big moment between, presumably that's 164, that's Martin Zellhofer, who's the other car, 142, that is Lukas Niederscheider. Oh, and they're now running three wide into the first corner. What a move by Lukas Niederscheider. Sorry, that's 112. That is actually Maximilian Mayer. He did try to take both of them round the outside. He did use the runoff area, and he gained quite a lot of speed through there. I'm not really sure if that is okay regarding the rules, but they are still staying side by side, and another three-way fight shaping up front. That's a very dramatic and very interesting race here indeed. In every corner they're fighting it out and fighting out for it. Is there going to be another battle for the race lead as well? Because Bernula is losing his lead to Kamil Serafin. He's only 0.4 seconds ahead of his rival, but we're still focusing on these fights as they are now way more intense than whatever is happening between the race leaders. They are close to one another, but not as close as these guys. And Balázs Hartmann somehow still ahead of everybody else. How he's doing that, I have no idea. We've got Christoph Zellhofer right behind him with Moritz Chermay with that yellow car with blue highlights, trying to get ahead, and they're now running nearly three abreast, with Fabian Orfandl taking the outside line into the last couple of corners. These are going to be very fast right-handers. They're not really offering much room for error, and it is now Moritz Chermay coming out on top of this fight. So Chermay up to fourth. Zellhofer and Orfandl, the other Zellhofer right behind them from Maximilian Mayer. Lukas Niederscheider currently being the big loser out of this fight, but the race is far from over. We are still yet to reach the halfway mark of it with 15 minutes left on the clock, so 10 minutes racing done, and I don't even remember how many overtakes we've already seen. I can't really count them. There's so many in each corner, in each lap. Balázs Hartmann somehow still third, but still under huge pressure from everybody else. And is now Moritz Chermay looking racy, diving down the inside and goes up to third, but Balázs Hartmann will try to have a go at him on the top of the hill. On that straight, they are now shaping, well, running side by side one another and getting ready for that first right-hander that goes downhill at this track. Balázs Hartmann now already having to look at the tailgate of the Swift of Moritz Chermay, and also Zellhofer is through. Orfandl trying to do the exact same thing. They're now nearly running 3 wide. Car number 107 in trouble. That's Michael Mayer down in 15th. So not exactly of that importance. Quarter of a second between the race leaders. Hartmann in the fight with Orfandl here, as they are now running side by side one another. And also Martin Zellhofer trying to have a look of his own and trying to see where he can get ahead. It's Moritz Chermay in third now, trying to get away from everybody else and maybe even potentially back into the fight for the race lead. Track limits, black and white flag warning for car number 142. That is Lukas Niederscheider down in 12th. So let's stay focused on the fights up front. Chermay in third, Zellhofer, it's actually Christoph Zellhofer in fourth. Orfandl fifth, Hartmann in sixth. Fabian Di Bionca, he lost a lot of ground in this race. He was starting towards the top end of the field. He's now even behind Martin Zellhofer, down in 9th. And that's a opportunistic moment. Optimistic was probably the word I was looking for. And that's the car number 112. That's Maximilian Mayer. He was actually then trying to simply not hit anyone, and we have got a change in the lead. This is Kamil Serafin taking the lead off the hands of István Bernula. And at the same time, it is Martin Zellhofer receiving the black and white flag for track limits. We're going to see a lot of them still in this race. Only just entered the second half of the race with 12 minutes left on the clock. There's still so much to fight for, and there is already nearly 7 seconds between the leading pair and the Moritz Chermay in third. That's him in the predominantly yellow car with blue headlamps, well, headlamp covers, I should say. The cars have been stripped down from unnecessary weight, and that means that even the headlamps have gone away. Balázs Hartmann having another sideways moment. That's not the fastest way around, but he's drifting through the corners. He did hit the high inside curb, but still he's moving in the right direction. The car seems to be okay, but the speed is not. And Maximilian Mayer having a look, having a go. They're running side by side. There's a contact, and Balázs Hartmann now being spun into the first corner, and he was so lucky to avoid all of the barriers and also that sausage curb on the inside of the first corner. That could have been a nasty one. So the pole sitter has been, well, fist fighted out of contention now. Retiring, that's Johannes Madertaner in 17th place. But he's actually facing the wrong way, that's why he is there. Yellow flags at turn 1 and turn 10, that's clear because we have got cars facing the wrong way in both of them. Johannes Madertaner, does not seem to get going again. Maximilian Mayer having a look. that needed Scheidler trying to fight with Martin Zellhofer? Might very well be. Martin Zellhofer, car number 164, but there's yellow flags being waved at this spot because there is a car still facing the wrong way and not really going anywhere. This is not a nice moment for anybody, and we're still checking if we have the safety car or not. Track marshal still only waving yellow flags. And the race control giving a chance to Johannes Madertaner to get going again. But he's been there for a while now, and not a lot has happened since then. So that's Meyer fighting with neither Scheidler. Oh, and he ran out of space to go. So he had to commence an overtaken maneuver, sort of last gasp move, to at least avoid a contact. Black and white flag for car number 107 for track limits. That is Michael Meyer in 13th. Regarding the 1.6 class, we've got Gabor Gjert leading from Balázs Gjert and Gabor Foraj. The other remaining cars in the class being Vince Keller, Oskar Marszalkowski and Egon Burkush. Time penalty for the car number 158 for track limits. 158, that is Sebastian Riedler in 14th. So currently mostly the drivers in the bottom half of the field getting penalties, and Johannes Madertaner is already out of his car, so he's not going to be able to get himself out of that situation, which means that his car is going to remain there pretty much until the end. But it seems now that the yellow flags have been lifted because the car is actually sort of hidden behind the barrier. Yes, it is next to the track, but on a spot where the chance of it being hit is virtually zero. So it seems the race control has now deemed the situation safe, and we are back to green flag conditions. Those are the 1.6 cars further down the field. 2-second penalty for car number 107, that is Michael Meyer for track limits. There is Moritz Chermay in third, the mostly white car, but he is not going to have it easy in the remaining part of the race to stay actually on the podium. Being chased by Christoph Zellhofer and Fabian Orfandl, and I believe Orfandl is still behind Zellhofer. Another penalty being announced, car 164. That's Martin Zellhofer in 6th. So that's one of the first sort of top 10 cars being penalized for track limits. But everybody's been reaching them. Everybody's really fighting hard for it. So it's only natural that they're going to be using as much space as they possibly can to make the track as straight for themselves as possible. Less than 1 second between the race leaders. Black and white flag for the car number 586, and that is that 586 or was it 566? But 586. That's Alex Sofka, who lost it all in the beginning. He did have to go to the pits. There was a problem on his car, but he appears to be back on track and now trying to lap faster. But of course, he is too far behind everybody now. Michael Meyer in front of Lukas Madertaner, sorry, Nieder Scheidler. And behind them, Fabian Dibionka. Nice contact. Scheidler lost it a little bit under braking, and now he is getting under pressure from Fabian Dibionka on the following straight. Neither Scheidler losing 1 place in the process with 5 minutes left to go in this race. And all of these are now getting closer to Martin Zellhofer, who will be penalized by 2 seconds at the end of the race. So his place to be had by all these 3 drivers now. Up ahead, we've got Moritz Chermay in third in that yellow car. Behind him still Christoph Zellhofer and Fabian Orfandl. In the meantime, the race leaders remaining to be Kamil Serafin and Istvan Bernua, still running less than a second away from one another. So the race is still pretty closely fought. On multiple fronts, and we've got a problem for Michael Mayer, who lost it exiting the corner number 4. And luckily he did manage to swerve back away from the barrier, otherwise that would have been a pretty nasty shunt into the Armco. That's the race leader for the 1.6 class. That's Gabor György in 16th overall. And this is the race leader, Kamil Serafin. Another penalty for car number 107. Again, Michael Mayer. Serafin leading. And he's now running wide. That is going to draw attention of the race stewards, definitely. Dangerous driving, car number 586. Alex Sofka, how did he do dangerous driving when he's just so far from anybody else? He's literally running alone now, but he still managed to drive dangerously somewhere on the track. Either way, let's get back to the fight for the race lead, because we've only got 3 minutes left, and the fight for the race lead is still yet to be sorted. Another 2 seconds for car number 164, that's Martin Zellhofer. He's already got 2 seconds, so he's going to get more, presumably. Kamil Serafin still staying in the race lead from Istvan Bernula. And we are probably having this and another 1 lap in this race. So penultimate lap is the one that we are finding ourselves on right now. 1 more to go when we cross the start and finish line. There we go, up the hill once again, over the crest, and into the final 2 tours that, well, final 2 corners I was going to say, but really fast. You always have to sort of fight the oversteer mid through the corner, as there's virtually no grip from the rear tyres. The car's just sliding around, and make no mistake, even in dry conditions, the Suzuki Swifts are actually not running slick tyres. They're grooved to some extent, so there's grooves in them, which is reducing the contact patch of the tyres, reducing their grip. Istvan Bernua a little too fast into the first corner from not a very forgiving angle, which means that he's now lost speed up the hill, and this is only going to help Serafin to defend his first position on the final lap of the race. 1 minute 20. Braking hard. Well, it might be close. The broadcast control is signaling to me that really that was very, very close, and we're just going to have to wait and see if this is the last lap or not. Okay, either way, Bernula going for it. He must treat this as the final one, because if there is no more time, then he's only got a couple of corners left, and only then to do it all. Kamil Serafin holding on to the race lead. Only a couple of corners left to, well, to the end of the lap. Is it the final one or is it not? 20 seconds. I believe it is. I do believe it is. But let's see. Let's see. I believe we'll only be just. But I guess we're going to now get out of the final corner with 5 seconds. Yeah, they can't make it. They can't make it. The time will be up before the line. Now it is. And this is the race. And Kamil Serafin is victorious in race number 2 here in Austria in the Suzuki Swift Cup Europe race. What an exciting race that was. We did have multiple changes for the race lead and so many other overtakes everywhere else through the field. So it is Kamil Serafin taking a victory from István Bernula. Moritz Čermej will be third across the line. He is now from Christoph Zellhofer. Fabian Orfandl finishes in fifth from Martin Zellhofer, Lukas Niederscheider, Fabian Dibionka, Lukas Buchinger in ninth, and Marton Čuzy in 10th. Behind him, Martin Niederscheider, Michael Mayer, Sebastian Riedler and Maximilian Mayer, who lost it in well, a couple of laps from home. Then Sebastian Riedler, Maximilian Mayer, they are getting penalties, it seems. Justin Vettere in 15th, and in the 1.6 class we seem to have a change for the race lead. That was a dramatic one. Balázs Hartmann being spun viciously into the first corner by Maximilian Mayer, and then Mayer lost it on his own a little later and managed to avoid the barrier only just. Vince Keller taking victory in the 1.6 class from Gabor György, Gabor Foray, Balázs György, Oskar Marszalkowski and Egon Burkus. We also had Alex Sofka and Balázs Hartmann across the line, with Johannes Madertaner the only one not to have finished the race. And what a race it was. Let's just see the best moments out of it.
Akkor a BMW M2 jön, ugye?